my name's Dom. I'm a stylist from Atlanta, Georgia. I reside here in East Austin. These are 10 things that I can't live without. So my family's Jamaican. This is a Jamaican brand, Grace. I always die hard for Grace or DG. It's hot pepper sauce, hot sauce. I can't live without it. I was at a point where I was definitely putting this in my tea in the morning to help wake me up. It's always just kind of like a good pick me up, something to keep me going, something to add flavor to like just my day, my life in general. It's a good little niche reminder of roots, like no matter what I'm having it with, throw it on some pizza, throw on some wings, throw it on some actual Jamaican food. But it's something that kind of brings me back home without having to do like a whole ensemble, like a whole thing, or try to recreate one of my mom's dishes. Is something that I can just kind of have with me in my backpack or like keep around me to just like a small memento or a small reminder at home. So this is my ginger tea. Literally start every day and end every evening with a packet of this. It's like naturally sweet. My uncle actually put me onto this, and it's just really powerful. Is like similar to the hot sauce, just like a great way to kind of get my morning going. Whether it's ginger tea or any other type of tea, I usually don't do anything caffeinated, just a very natural way to jolt myself awake. Ginger also holds a lot of cultural importance to me as far as its significance within the Caribbean, specifically in Jamaican culture, whether it's used in food, drink, ailments, especially when you're like with different types of sicknesses, always my go-to. Okay. So this is Smoky Quartz, coiled in copper, and I got it from a guy from a crystal shop back home. I usually wear it around my neck, but I've found it more efficient lately to just kind of wrap it up and keep it in my purse. Smoky Quartz is usually used for grounding and protection, just keeping a lot of good energy around me, making sure that I'm able to walk through this realm and just kind of like step into my own essence, not have to worry too much. I think that these things, like we want to assign power to things, but I think that different things, especially of the earth, can carry their own innate power. Depends on how you believe in it, but it is something that definitely helps me kind of like, whether it's just kind of like a memento or a reminder that like I am protected or I'm protecting myself. It's just really, really grounding and really nice to have. I always try to keep a little bit of lavender around me, whether it's to put in the bath or just like have in a corner of my room, smoke. It's soothing, it's relaxing, it really just kind of allows me to take a breath and calm down. I love to take it to work with me, keep it in my bag. If I ever catch a moment where I feel stressed or overwhelmed or kind of like chest tight, can't breathe, or like my anxiety is getting the best of me, I just kind of tell myself to take a minute, take a breath, take a quick look for this, and I can kind of ease back into my own. This is a book of chants from SGI, which is a chapter of Buddhism derived from Nichiren's teachings. While I myself haven't started practicing, I really do want to practice. I was going through a really tough time in my life last year, and I had different members of my family who were chanting for me, who were really sending like a lot of positive energy my way. Who are practicing Nichiren Buddhists. So I keep this with me as just a reminder that other people are thinking of me and are centering me in their thoughts and are sending that positive and strong energy to me, carrying it both as just like a reminder that I'm going to be okay, but also that I have a responsibility to myself and to other people to just kind of like be a member of this world and kind of reconnect myself and reground myself. My journal. I'll keep it with me in my backpack whenever I just have a quick thought, a quick style idea, anything that I want to jot down. I'm a very stream of consciousness person, just trying to catch my thoughts whenever they come. Sometimes it can be difficult for me to kind of sit in one spot and be like, okay, ready, like let's let's write it out, let's figure it out. I'm very much somebody who takes like a quick note whenever it comes, and I just kind of keep this as, I don't know, it's like a sacred space for me. A sacred space where I can keep both like whatever I'm trying to brainstorm on, whether I'm like working on a project and just trying to get some ideas out, or my thoughts in general. I like having them in the same place because that's always where I draw inspiration from. Whether it's my life experiences or something that I've seen that day, a previous thought, or some moment where I was meditating. It's just a nice home to come back to as far as just kind of keeping all my thoughts in one spot. So yeah.
Okay.
So this is a Capricorn New Moon lavender spray with some quartz in there. I got it from Brown Sister Basics. And for me, this is important because I spray it, I keep it at the house. It's definitely something that I use to kind of like hone myself back in. I use it right before I go to bed. I use it when I'm trying to relax, kind of spray it on my pillows, spray it like on my bed, and just kind of like create that sanctuary, that sacred space. Which is also important for me in terms of like making that separation between workspace and art space and relaxation. I believe it's important for any artist to have those spaces, interact in a very specific way where you're not allowing yourself to be overworked or drained, unsure of like where your energy's going. So it's a great way for me to just kind of pull back into myself and just kind of like, all right, it's time to take rest, it's time to sit down, it's just kind of take a minute for yourself. Between sage and incense, which is what I usually have whenever I'm doing like a pop-up shop or anything like that, is really good in terms of energy clearing. You always want to have sage and sweetgrass. Sweetgrass to bring in positive energy so that you're not just clearing the air and then like allowing whatever to come back in. To me, this helps when I feel like my thoughts are too busy. I feel like there's too much going on. I feel like I want to just kind of hit a restart button on things, or if I'm looking for like want to wipe a slate clean and like allow some new inspiration to come in, I'll light a little bit of sage. And I think that I've come to be a little bit more mindful of how I use it. I think that I try not to do it too often, and really make it a very spiritual and a very mindful practice when I do use it, to ensure that I'm really directing my energy into a very intentional space and setting a very intentional goal when I do want to wipe the slate clean, or when I do want to kind of clear the energy that I feel like has been clouding things for me, so that I can really find a new earnest sense of direction. This is my film camera. My dad got this for me while I was in college. I think it holds a very special place in my heart, simply because it's really inspired me to just be in the moment, to be intentional about capturing different little moments that have either affected me in some way specifically, or a moment that I've been able to pass along to somebody else, which is also something that I draw inspiration from in terms of my ability and my, I guess my main way of connecting with people. I wouldn't call myself a photographer. I take pictures. This is something that I think holds a lot of heavy sentimental value, which is also something that I really enjoy in terms of what I pull from style. Things that are very meaningful to people, things that hold grounding moments, different little precious moments, whether they're big or small. And to me, this camera just kind of brings it back to that, and just kind of like has that sentiment in mind. Yeah. So this is my DSLR, my little Nikon, my little baby. She's rusty. I've had her for 6 years now. That's really wild to say out loud and realize just how long she's been with me. I think that this is really important to me as an artist to have, because I use it myself for when I go on shoots. I don't always shoot my own photo shoots, but when I can't find someone, or I feel like it's just really time for me to get some practice behind the camera, I always come back to her. I think that this has helped me in terms of not only the way that I see the world, but also the way that I've reflected on myself and my own perspective. I feel like when I'm taking pictures, it's almost like its own form of meditation, of kind of like just really realizing and taking a moment to understand how I'm taking things in. And even great for self-reflection if I need a change of perspective. If I'm looking at something constantly from one way, one angle, with one specific lighting, and just kind of being like, oh yeah, no, like this is giving me exactly what I need. And then maybe having a model look at it or having somebody else look at it and just kind of like, well, did you ever think about this? Did you ever think about that? And pushing me to either go outside my comfort zone or really think about something in a different way that I may not have seen it before. It helps me notice things that I may not have paid attention to before. I think that I've grown with this camera. Yeah, I think that I've found out a lot of different things about the world and myself through just having it with me.